Hello, my kinky friends. I'm back, and today we are starting a new segment, BDSM Advice with Midnight. This is where I will be answering your questions both locally and across the internet, helping to promote education, learning something new, maybe laugh a little bit, but of course, grow together. And today we're going to be answering questions from the subreddit BDSMadvice. First one here is from GranListen3226. I'm a female submissive, recently entered into a new dynamic with a male dom. He really seems to love traditional femininity. After finally being able to meet up for the first time, he asked me to pour him a drink and insert a new butt plug he got for me as a gift before returning to the living room to join him. He likes to be served, and I'm happy to do it. The problem I want to wow him. I don't want to just meet the already laid out expectations, I want to exceed them. Can anyone help me think of some ideas to really get him going? I'm thinking along the lines of super submissive acts. Thank you in advance. When you're starting off into a relationship there and they're enjoying the idea of submission and they're enjoying, in this particular case, femininity, what you're going to want to keep in mind is it's not about trying to make these grand, complicated gestures, especially when you're starting out. You want to avoid burning out. I know you've got the new relationship energy going. You really want to impress, you're happy, and I'm glad to be seeing the energy that you're bringing. The one thing you have to remember is the keep it simple method. You want to be able to find the easiest ways to start expressing and developing acts of submission that they're going to enjoy that will also be well noticed. From there, later on, you can build on these efforts. The most important part right now is to find out what's going to be simple and really drawing a lot of attention. With that in mind, it's going to be about the little extras that are going to make that big difference. Of course, he understands that he wants the submission, he wants you to express femininity, but how far does it have to go? And what is it that's going to help create that wow? You don't have to make it big. It can be something very simple. For example, how you serve the drink. It's very easy to come up there, bring them a drink the way that they want it, perfectly fine and good. If you want to up it, think about dressing in a way that he identifies as that sort of submission or femininity that he's enjoying. This could be, instead of serving it in a house coat or your t-shirt and shorts, maybe you bring out it in some lingerie, maybe even naked. Another thing you can do is have wrist cuffs on your arms as well to symbolize your submission to him. All these things are very simple and easy to do and creates just that extra effort of making it special for him. So theoretically, he could go out to any restaurant, bar, they could bring him his drink, they're going to be nice, they're going to be friendly, it will have an aura of quasi-submission, customer service, you want to make sure that they're happy. But in this case, you're dressing up a little bit to show that he's special and that you are offering something different. Some other little things that you can do to increase the presence of your femininity when you're trying to provide service. It can be very simple, fuck me red lipstick, eyeliner as well, very simple makeup techniques that draw more attention to you that also stand out outside of the everyday that you might wear. These things continue to build on the basic principle that it's the experiences you share together that develops your relationship over time. By doing these sort of little things that are unique or not the mundane that you might encounter, this is what's going to create that memory. I can definitely share from personal experience with this one girl I was dating. I was watching one of the Batman movies. She had set that up for me and she said, I have to go to the bathroom for a moment. I was like, okay. She goes away, comes out a few minutes later in this all black lingerie, matching with, of course, the Batman theme. She then proceeded to give me a lap dance while I was watching the Batman movie. And I have to say my mind was blown on that one. I was so happy. I'm watching, this traditionally nerdy movie, and I have this beautiful, sexy woman just like sitting on my lap, grinding, just being this amazing person and just making me feel comfortable that I am sexy in my own element as well. And that meant so much to me. Even years later, I remember it. And it didn't take something elaborate to create that wow. So always remember, the little things can sometimes have the biggest effects without creating any additional stress. Now moving on to the next one, we have Cosmic Reed. They're talking about how their partner and I have been wanting to get a set of leg and arm binders in the crawl harness pet crawler style. Basically the padded knees if your arms are brought together and you're walking on your elbows and knees. But they have a caveat. because of their connective tissue disorder and massive weight loss, they have been left with lymphedema, forgive me if I got that wrong, in their thighs and upper arms, making them typically outside the normal range. As such, they are looking for plus-size gear that one will be able to make that is custom to their measurements. They're asking about if anyone has any leads on this. Searching around the internet, they've had trouble so far. So I want to tackle this from a couple different angles, being able to offer both an economic solution and the more custom high-end one. Because when you are dealing with any of these sort of like leather arm binders, they're going to be costing hundreds of dollars easily to be able to acquire even the normal range of these items. And of course, I also want to mention on the idea of that their body shape is outside of the normal range. This is something that a lot of people encounter when they're trying to partake in the lifestyle, where it's like, oh, I have larger breasts but a regular sized body, or I'm just like a bigger person, or I have a heavier set. And a lot of the times items aren't actually tailored to the wide variety of the reality of human body sizes. And there are ways that we can look into to be able to help deal with this. So first off, I want to talk about the cheaper option, which involves using rope and shibari. The great part about this is for easily anywhere from $20 to $30 at your local hardware store, you can pick up this. This is cotton line that people traditionally use for hanging their laundry way back in the day. It's a great natural fiber that you can work with. And the great part about it is you can use it to create arm binds, leg binds, anywhere that you want. And the best part about shibari is it can be customized to any body size. I've worked with a lot of different people with different proportions. Some ties are going to work better than others, and you're going to want to explore, learn a bit, but it wouldn't take more than a couple hours of studying with the rope, learning the basics of safety of shibari, and not having to invest much financially to be able to get started. It's also a really great idea to try out before you purchase anything that's on the more expensive end, because let's just say you buy it and there's some other problem you didn't think of, and now you need a different set, or this wasn't exactly what you're looking for. You're already now out hundreds of dollars. This way, by testing with the ropes, you're doing a minimum investment, you're learning a new kink, and now you can customize it to any body size that you want. As long as you are doing the research, you're being creative, you can find a way to make it work for any body size. And that's something I've done a lot of work with in my various Shibari 101 workshops, is showing how you can still create these ties if people have less flexibility, they're bigger, they're smaller, how to adjust these rope sizes. And there's lots of information online to be able to help you with that. The other part is if you have the resources and you absolutely know that you do want to go along this route, you can look into getting the custom leather work. And I know you were mentioning in your post there that you were looking around, you were getting a little bit confused on where it is that you should try to find some. What I would recommend is to use local kinky vendors in your area to be able to find someone who's a leather crafter. Now, let's just say you're in a small town, you don't know of anyone around there. You still want to do Google search, even check in by whatever is the nearest large city that you know of, finding out whatever kink venues that they have over there, expos, even bizarre things like you'll sometimes find steampunk festivals, pagan festivals, witch festivals. You'll find many people who work in leather at these places, and a lot of them are willing to do custom work. In the Sudbury area, I know a few people. If you are located in Ontario, I would recommend Leather Lockbox. He does great custom work, and I know he would be able to help you out in that way. Of course, you want to find whoever is probably closer to you. The great part about taking the more custom approach is not only can you get it to fit your specific size, but I would definitely recommend getting like a stitch on it or something about like your name, your pet name, something that makes the equipment unique to you, that can be in a different color, that can stand out, and that's going to increase the value that you're going to get out of it and the connection you'll be able to have with your partner as well. And again, because going into that custom area is so much more expensive, I highly recommend trying it with rope, doing some shibari first, to really see if this is going to be the thing for you. And then at least gives you something to start with, or an alternative option as well. And a lot of these things can be carried over to doing pet harnesses for doing walks and other things like that. Now moving back on along here, we have Instruction Public 876. They entitled it, Enjoy Extreme Anal, but Yikes. I've noticed that about once a month, I get extremely horny, like a switch flips, and I crave really intense anal play. During these times, I find myself pretty aggressively or try to insert something huge. I've weakened my anal sphincter as a result. Things feel looser than they used to, and I'm farting constantly. I'm starting to wonder, is this just something I need to accept about myself, and that the incontinuance may be likely in the future? or should I see a professional to try to stop this behavior? Well, the first thing that I'm going to say is I'm not a medical professional. Do not take my advice here as medical advice, but simply that of a professional in their field. When it comes down to anal play of any type, you do want to be careful because it's easy to rupture, tear, or otherwise injure. Now, I'm just noticing when you are talking about this, you get these sudden urges that come out of nowhere and you just get horny and you're having fun. And clearly this is something that you enjoy. And I wouldn't want to recommend trying to suppress that through therapy or trying to see some way to stop it. Clearly it's something that you enjoy. Now, we all get horny, and in those moments we can sometimes make not the smartest decisions. The biggest thing I could say is if you know that this is something that you're prone to, you want to take proactive steps beforehand to train yourself so that you're better situated when these things come around. I mean, the same thing if you feel like you might get horny when you're going out with friends, you pack a condom with you so you're prepared just in case. When it comes down to anal play, there's a lot that you should be doing to make sure that you're taking care of your body's health, particularly in that area. The great thing is whenever you're working on anal play, anything that you do for your physical health also helps to enhance your sexual health. And based off the description that you gave, it doesn't seem like you have a lot of experience or have done studies in that area to understand your body, how you connect to it both physically and sexually. So I do have something that's going to be a great recommendation for you. To give a little bit of background, about 12 or 15 years ago, I had to have a surgery right below my tailbone, and I had a lot of stress. And this was causing problems with the healing process because I couldn't relax, I couldn't connect, and it was causing a lot of problems. I was able to learn from this one book about how to connect with my body, how to learn to relax, how to understand what are the stimulations, the pain and pleasure in that area, because if I wasn't in control of that, it was just going to do whatever it wanted, and that was causing me a lot of the stress and a longer recovery time. So with that, I would like to recommend for you the following book, and I will have the link on Amazon to be able to acquire it. It is Anal Pleasure in Health by Jack Morin, PhD. So this gentleman is a clinician and researcher for more than 3 decades. They are a professor at the California Institute of Integral Studies and a facility member of the Institute for Advanced Study of Human Sexuality, and practices psychotherapy and sex therapy in the San Francisco Bay Area. So this is someone who has both the medical and cultural knowledge to be able to help approach these issues. One thing I really love about this book when I was reading it was how it taught you to be able to get in touch with your body, to be able to explore what is pain, what is pleasure, how to be able to prep yourself, techniques and exercises that you can do to help improve your own anal health, which is going to pay off also in the long run. Because if you are worried about, you hear about adults, they need diapers, they can't control their bowels. A lot of the time it is because we have untrained muscles in those areas that we are not fine-tuning. In our culture, we unfortunately ignore a lot of these issues, and it catches up with us over time. And I think it's so important for all of us, regardless of whether or not it's something that is erotic or just for your health, that we need to get familiar with this area and learn about it. As well, this is a great way to sort of start your journey into it. If you're doing the exercises, if you're doing the practices, there's things that you can do in your home, in the shower, ways to kind of warm up your body. And the great part is if you're developing these healthy habits throughout the month, you're going to find that then when you get horny and that switch takes over, you're not going to have to be worried about, am I doing too much, or am I going to, hurt myself long term? Because you've already done the prep. Think about any sort of athlete or MMA fighter. Before they're going into the ring, they are doing their training months in advance, they're doing their warm-ups, they're getting everything ready. In a lot of king activities, this is the approach that we should be taking. We should be training ourselves when we're not in scenes. We should make sure that we're doing warm-ups when we're before we start a scene, and make sure we understand the aftercare that we need after the scene is done. If you're taking these precautions and you're incorporating them into your lifestyle, you're going to find that you're going to have a lot more success in these areas and not experience as much discomfort or long-term effects. You can really turn this situation where you're worried about that you're harming yourself into the motivation to be able to take care of yourself in the long term. And I can't think of anything better that when your sexual interests lead directly to improved health. And that's what we have for today. If you would like to have one of your questions answered, please make sure you go into the comments, leave your question there. I will definitely be reviewing it and want to try to get to it as soon as I can. And of course, if you're enjoying this content, you want to continue to support it, make sure you find that little like and subscribe button. Just, caress it a little bit, warm it up a little bit, and make sure you press it good and solid. You'll find that things greatly improve for your own life as well. I'm Midnight. Thank you very much. I'll see you again next time. Take care.